Hey everybody, welcome back to The Man Collects. My name is Chris, this is my YouTube channel, The Man Collects, and today we're doing something a little bit different here on the channel. We're not doing a toy hunt. I see all these other YouTubers that do their top 5 or top 10 figures of the year when it comes close to year end each year, and to be honest with you guys, I don't really keep up with that close enough. I'm going to do better in 2024, but I can't tell you when the stuff I bought this year came out. Some stuff I know came out in 23, some stuff I just don't have any clue. So what I want to do is I want to rank a top 5 of something I have enjoyed doing this year, which I've enjoyed doing years past as well, but Build-A-Figures. And now I'm going to do this based on the top 5 that I purchased and I put together in 2023. Now these figure series and waves may not have came out in 23. They could have been prior years, but thanks to Ross and thanks to Ollie's, thanks to Burlington, and then some clearance sales as well, we've been able to get some of these older Build-A-Figure waves and put these together for a really good price. So like I said, you may see some in here that didn't come out in 2023, but I'm basing it on ones that I bought and I put together during this year. So let's get into it. It's only going to consist of Hasbro Marvel Legends and DC, McFarlane DC Multiverse. So if you any other Build-A-Figure waves you're a fan of, I do apologize. This will only have the Hasbro and Multiverse. And once again, they are waves that I bought and put together during this year that may not necessarily came out during 2023. But let's get to it, and let's see what is the man's top 5. All right, everybody, here we are. I've got my chair almost all the way on the ground trying to get down low enough so you can see the figures because, hey, this is not about the Man Collects. This is about the figures. You want to see the Build-A-Figures. So let's get into it. Top 5 of 2023 that I purchased and bought in 23. May not have came out in 23. Another disclaimer. But let's start out by looking at the most disappointing Build-A-Figure of not only 2023, of any Build-A-Figure that I've ever put together. I think this is a lot of other YouTubers and toy collectors' worst one as well. And it pains me to say it, but Bane from McFarlane Toys for the Dark Knight trilogy. Dark Knight Rises he was in. Great character. Tom Hardy played the guy perfectly. But this Build-A-Figure, this is one of the ones I was really looking forward to. And quite literally, he sucks. Number one thing with him that got me was this center torso. It's hollow. You can squeeze all the way into the peg that connects the upper torso to the legs there. I don't know why they went with that. No other McFarlane I have got is done like that. They're all solid in there in that torso. But again, on Bane, for whatever reason, there's not solid plastic behind his vest. It just goes straight to the peg. Issue number 2 with him, and I know in Dark Knight Rises, Bane was not the big roided out jock like he was in the Nightfall and in the comic books, but Tom Hardy was a lot physically bigger than Christian Bale in that movie. And if you look at the biceps there, this Bane has not been hitting the gym. I mean, he's in better shape than the Man Collects, but still, his arms and stuff, he should have been a lot more bulkier figure in my opinion. The number 3 thing was putting him together. He wasn't as much of a pain as some other Build-A-Figures. I've got one in my top 5. It's probably one of the most aggravating ones I've ever done. But the biggest thing with him, and if you haven't got this and you do want to get it, or that Jokerized version, unless they fixed it, is the neck peg. I'm not going to take this off and show you, but the neck peg is like that long. It's super skinny. It's really easy when you're trying to get that head on there to break that thing or bend it down to where you can't get a good connection with it. Luckily, I got mine on there with no problems. I can't remember what I did, if I heated it or just actually just done it gingerly and got it on there. But saw a lot of other YouTubers that were doing this as part of a video or a live stream break that neck peg trying to get that head to snap on. But again, right there, before we get into the top 5 favorite ones from this year, right there is the suckiest one, Bane. Alright, now we're going to do an honorable mention too, because again, you've watched my hunt videos, you know when I wrap up a video, I do my top 3. I always put more than 3 things in it. There's going to be more things in this top 5. But the one I wanted to really put in this top 5, but he didn't break it for me, for one reason and one reason only, Infinity Ultron from Marvel Legends. I love the What If storyline. I love anything to do with the Infinity Gauntlet, I am in on. So Infinity Ultron, I had to have that Build-A-Figure, and I do have his big, Knight's Lance thing he's got there. I'm just not putting that in his hand there for purpose of the video. But one reason only I didn't put this in my top 5. He didn't make it because the shoulder pads, they preclude his arms from being able to extend out. And you can't do any really cool poses other than, old school 90s figures with the articulation they had back then. Just moving up and down. But again, it's an awesome figure. Again, he's got the Infinity Stones look great there on him. They look more like gems and stones on this one. I'm more of an Infinity Gems guy from the old classic comics. But This is one I wanted to make the top 5, but not being able to move those arms, that knocked him out of the top 5. So here is my honorable mention, best Build-A-Figure that I put together in 2023. Alright, so now we got the one I thought sucked the most, the one that I wanted to put in the top 5, but just couldn't put him in. So now let's take a look at what is the top 5 Build-A-Figures that I have bought and assembled in 2023. Now the first one, I think a lot of people would also agree, this is one of the most aggravating Build-A-Figures to put together and get to snap in. I don't even know if this one is all the way snapped in or not, so I don't do a lot with him. But we've got Bane here from the Last Night on Earth Build-A-Figure series from DC Multiverse. This thing, as far as looks and size, it looks great. If you're a fan of that comic story, they did a really good job capturing the way he looks there. But I've got to say, guys, the reason this hit number 5 and didn't go higher for me are these legs right here. These legs, when you put this thing together, will make you say curse words you did not know existed when you put it together. But I've got mine in. Now, whether they're all the way snapped in, I don't know. But the pants here kind of come down over the peg. You have to snap this in on. They get in the way. I mean, you can't see it, but up in his crotch, up in there, I had to cut some of that rubber material away to get the legs to connect. And I just had to really wrench and torque him to get them on there. When I got him down off my shelf tonight to do this top 5, one of the legs actually came off, and I had to re-snap him on there. I got to get Scarecrow back on there better as well. But this Bane looks great. As far as being accurate to the story, he looks phenomenal. But again, if you do put this together, the legs are going to give you a fit, and his fist will give you a fit as well. This is another thing. I don't know if they're in there as good as they should be. They did snap. I remember when I put it together, I thought I broke the thing. But like I said, it's in there. I pulled on them. I can twist them and don't move them. But again, the hard thing of putting him together, that's what makes him number 5 and puts him last. But still, look at it. I mean, it looks great. And then you got that awesome Scarecrow there that can hang on his back the same way he does in the comic. So, yep, Bane, Last Night on Earth, DC Multiverse is number 5. Let's put him down very carefully. All right, now, number 4. What was my number 4 favorite Build-A-Figure that I got and put together this year? It's another DC Multiverse, and we got Atrocitus from the Darkest Night, or the Blackest Nightwave. He's tall. He doesn't need that little base. This thing, as far as DC Multiverse figures go, is one of my favorites. One thing I like the most about this is the detailing and the work he got there on the scales, really, on his suit. Looks great. I'm a fan of black. I'm a fan of red. And he's got both. But again, this is an awesome looking Build-A-Figure. And as far as DC Multiverse Build-A-Figures go, he is the easiest one that I have ever put together. You know, he snapped together easy. I got him on the first try. He didn't have a lot of stuff fall off of him. So this thing, from the looks way, it looks great here and easy to put together. And he is number 4 on my list for 2023. Again, no idea when the Blackest Nightwave came out. But again, I got it in 2023. And we put it together. I actually got lucky. I found that wave on a random clearance at Walmart, and then they restocked it. Now it's full price again, so don't know about that. But like I said, Atrocitus from the Blackest Night Build-A-Figure wave, he is number 4 on the man's top 5 of 2023. Top 5 Build-A-Figures. All right, then we got number 5. We got number 4. Let's get to number 3, and let's get to a Marvel Legend. We're going to have the base for this one to be able to see them all on there. This one almost ranked higher if he wasn't such a, I don't want to call him weak, but just kind of a role-playing villain. Bonebreaker from Marvel Legends, from the X-Men Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave. This thing, I was blown away by this when I got it, to be quite honest. When this thing sat on shelves in retail, let's get him spinning around for you. I was not a huge fan of him, to be quite honest, in that whole wave, but the wave started hitting Ollie's. It started hitting Ross, started hitting stores like that, so I bought it on a discount. And man, I'm glad I did, because this Build-A-Figure is great. I love the scale and the size, the detailing on the tank, the facial expression. He comes with a cool gun. I mean, Bonebreaker looks awesome. Again, if he'd have been more of a more prestigious character, in my opinion, in X-Men lore, I probably would have put him a little bit higher. But just because of the way he looks, the ease to put together, and the fun of putting it together, he comes in at number 3, and he's the first Marvel Legend on the list. He's number 3 there, so Bonebreaker from the X-Men Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure, that is number 3 on my top 5 2023 Build-A-Figures that I put together this year. We're going to get one more look at him there as he spins. Oh yeah, Bonebreaker. Again, guys, if you see this thing on a discount store somewhere, or you got a chance to pick up this wave of this Build-A-Figure, highly recommend this one. All right, our next one, number 2. What was the number 2 Build-A-Figure that I purchased and put together this year? We're going back to Multiverse, and in my opinion, we're going to turn the spinner thing off. In my opinion, this is the best Multiverse Build-A-Figure that I have done. And that is going to be from the Batman, I think this is Arkham City Wave, Solomon Grundy. Now, there are 2 versions of Solomon Grundy. You got the regular version I have here. Then there's a black and white version that has some blue coloring on his stomach and on his face. That was a Walmart gold label if you buy that series again. I do have both, but I keep those gold labels in box, so I can't get to the Build-A-Figure pieces. But Solomon Grundy, let me slide him a little bit closer there without getting him out of the frame. But he looks great. Let's get him spinning around for you. To be a bigger figure, I gotta say, he wasn't terribly hard to put together. The hardest thing about him, again, as one thing I usually struggle with Multiverse Build-A-Figures, is the legs. Getting his legs to snap into the pegs. But this is one, after I got his head on, you just have to sit and keep wrenching. Eventually them legs will pop in there. You know, you can heat them up if you need to, if a little bit stiff. But again, love this Build-A-Figure. The texturing on his jean jacket, or vest here, and his pants, his torn pants are great. Like I said, you can look at the face sculpt there if I can get him up there good enough for you. I mean, check that thing out. That looks phenomenal in my opinion. This almost looks like actual denim instead of rubber, the way they did it there. So, kudos to McFarlane. This is a wonderful Build-A-Figure. It really almost took number 1 for me, but there's one more, of course, ahead of number 2 that I liked a little bit better. But I'm going to give you one more look at him as he spins around here. Solomon Grundy is number 2 on my list of figures that I got and put together during this year. Oh, good looking Build-A-Figure. All right, now, number 1. What was the number 1 Build-A-Figure that I got this year? It was a Marvel Legend, and one that I really wanted when it was out in retail, but I just couldn't pay $25 a figure. But Ollie's hooked me up on this one, and it is Colossus from the Age of Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave from X-Men on Marvel Legends. This is one. Colossus is probably my favorite X-Men character. You got Wolverine, Bishop, ones like that, but Colossus, I always loved his character. Age of the Apocalypse, loved the character in that one as well. And this thing looks great. When that line was out in stores, I mean, I mostly saw the wave in Target. It may have been Target exclusive, I don't know back then. But like I said, I just couldn't bring myself to pay, $25 a figure. But they hit Ollie's, $9.99 a figure. So that was no-brainer for me. Picked it up, and we built Colossus. I did come close to buying this Build-A-Figure at a toy shop one time for like $60 or $65. No, it was higher than that. I think it's like 80-something. But I'm glad I didn't, because I ended up getting it for cheaper than that, buying it at Ollie's. The best thing about Ollie's, too, the more you spend there, the more discount coupons you got. So I ended up getting, I don't know how much percentage off that wave when I bought it. But again, we're not getting into all that. He is number 1 in all his glory. Colossus takes the top spot of the Build-A-Figures that I was able to get and put together in 2023. Once again, to end this video, I know some of these figures did not come out in 2023, but again, these are ones that I was able to get during this year and put together. So let's do a real quick recap before we sign off here. My number 5 Build-A-Figure is one that I'm still nervous to get a hold of, but it is Bane from The Last Night on Earth, DC Multiverse. My number 4 was also a DC Multiverse, and we've got Atrocitus here from the Blackest Night wave. And then the next one, what I do with Bonebreaker? Here he is. Marvel Legends breaking in at number 3. You've got Bonebreaker there from the X-Men line, the Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave. And then number 2, again, in my opinion, the best DC Multiverse Build-A-Figure that there has ever been. You got Solomon Grundy. And then again, the king. Number 1, according to me, my preferences, Colossus Age of Apocalypse Build-A-Figure. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I may do some more content like this. Depends on how it does when I put it out. This is different than my usual toy hunts. But if you did enjoy it, give me a like. Let me know in your comments if there's some that, you like to see in here. Now, I've probably got 40 Build-A-Figures. These are just, and I haven't done them all this year. But again, these are the ones I've gotten during this year. I think I've done 15 this year. So I broke it down to this top 5. But again, if you do enjoy the content, be sure to give me a like. Be sure to give me a subscribe. You can check me out on Instagram as well. And until the next video, Man Collects. See you later.